matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Take a deep breath. You're here, it's Friday night. Time for us to enjoy a little bit of song, each other's company, and of course, to bring in the Shabbat that we so love. An official introduction. Welcome to Temple Sinai of Palm Beach County. My name is student cantor Dan Geigerman. I'll be leading this service tonight with Dr. Dave McFarland on piano and with the help of co-presidents Lynn Weinstein and Betty Adams. I thank you both so much for your help. A reminder, please, to turn off all cell phones and pagers if those still exist. Somewhere they do. I know, in many professions, like medical, I know that they still do. It is my honor to invite Estelle Morgenstein up to bring some light into our life at this time by lighting the Shabbat candles. We are on page 120 and 121.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotov v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
We continue on page 122 and 123 with the Kiddush. Vayhi Erev, vayhi Boker, Yom Hashishi, vayechulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzevam, vayichal Elohim vayom hashvi'i melachto asher asa, vayishbot vayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa. ויברך את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא Elohim la'asot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, vorei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho ve'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit. Ihu yom techila lemikraye kodesh, zecher letziat mitzrayim. Hivanu v'acharta Ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim. We continue on page 131 with the words of Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Just like the Shabbat candles bring light into our souls on Shabbat, also the words of our faith and our tradition do as well. On page 132, we have the words of Or Zarua. Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright in heart. We look towards not only our words, but also our music to bring us light. Or Zarua la tzadik u'yishrei lev simcha. Or Zarua la tzadik u'yishrei lev simcha. Or Zarua la tzadik u'yishrei lev simcha. U'yishrei lev simcha. Or Zarua la tzadik u'yishrei lev simcha. U'yishrei lev simcha. Ya la la We turn now to page 142. The words of welcome for the Sabbath angels to be with us, to protect us, and to be our strength. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Halachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moachem Leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bachuni Leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, V'melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Before we continue on page 138 with the words of Lecha Dodi, I want to give a special welcome to Rabbi Allison Cohen, who is with us this evening, and who you may have heard will be joining us for High Holy Days, Slichot, and for our open house next month. So everybody, wave. Okay, that's enough. As is our tradition, on page 138, we will be singing Lecha Dodi verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, rising before the 9th verse. Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela, Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela, Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem ol tiferet v'litila lecha dodi, Lekrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela, Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela, Lekrat Shabbat, Lechu v'nelcha, Tihi mekor habaracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, So ba'aseh b'machshavat tchila lecha dodi, Lekrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela, Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela. Hitoreri, Kiva Oren, Umi Ori, Uri, Shir Daberi, Kivod Adonai Elech Nigla Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela, Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela. Moi v'shalom ateret bala, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לחדותי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לחדותי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Take this moment to say hello to somebody who you haven't seen, and also to wave into that camera in the corner and say hello to everybody who's joining us virtually. We remain standing and continue on page 146 with the Baruch. We continue together on the second paragraph on page 149. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change. And within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. We turn the page for the words of Ahavat Olam. Yihem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layla negei yomam v'layla ve'ahavatcha al tasir imeinu le'olamim baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael ohev amo Yisrael. We rise for the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch shekevod malchuto le'olam va'ed. Baruch shekevod malchuto le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. You may be seated. We continue on page 154, chanting together the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha vehayu letotafot beineinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. We read responsively on the bottom of page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be at one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Page 158, Michamocha. Yambai bai bim bidi bai, yabai bai bim bam. Ay bai bai bim bidi bai, yabai bai bim bam. Ay dai da dai dai dai, yabai bai bim bam. Ay dai da dai dai dai, yabai bai bim bam. Mihi chamocha bailim Adonai, mihi chamocha nedar bakodesh, no ratei lo tosefele, no ratei lo tosefele, mahalechutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe Miriam, Zeli, Zeli, Anu ve'amru, Adonai lo le'olam va'ed, Yambai bai bim bidi bai, yabai bai bim bam, Aidai bai bim bidi bai, yabai bai bim bam, Aidai da dai dai dai, yabai bai bim bam, Aidai da dai dai dai, yabai bai bim bam. Let us read together the second paragraph on page 161. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, ve'hamiteinu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamitzeinu shomreinu lechayim. Baruch atah Adonai, Aporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Amen. That's my dad's favorite version of Hashkivenu. It's also mine. And to hear all of you sing it, it's just, that's the feeling that I hope to feel every time I sing those words of Sukkah Shlomecha, this sukkah of peace. And for me, it's your voices singing, and it's just so beautiful. Let us continue with a more upbeat song here on page 162, the words of Vishamru, celebrating the day of Shabbat. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Let us read together the second paragraph on page 165 as we prepare for the Amidah. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits. God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. We rise as we are on page 164 for the Amidah. Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi tehillatcha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el hagadol, hagibor v'hanora, El Elyon, gomel chasadim tovim, vekonei hakol, vezocher chastei avot ve'imahot, umevi geula lifnei bneihem, v'man shemo be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayim emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech me'mit u'mechayeh, u'matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'emanata lehachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehallelu chaseda. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We take a moment for our own silent prayer. You may be seated when you are ready. Rahav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol heit ubechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. With this feeling of shalom, of peace, let us turn to those who are not feeling so at this time. Those of us in our lives who might need a little extra prayer, a little extra healing of body and mind and spirit. If you are thinking of someone at this time, please say the name of that person out loud. And those of you joining us virtually, please give life to the name of those who you are thinking of at this time. Along with those names, we have the names on our congregation's Misha Berach list that Lynn is looking at this time. We offer this prayer of healing. Misha Berach Avoteinu Avraham, Yitzchak veYaakov. Mi sheberach imotenu, Tzara Rivka Leah veRachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with a vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mi sheberach Imotenu, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. So my father, who's a lawyer and a mediator, has always tried to instill within me, always do something that's right, not the easy thing. He also told me, never, ever mediate with children, always arbitrate. Full of so much wisdom, this man. But in this week's Torah portion, we have the perfect example of one of the best ways to negotiate. So the Israelites are about a year out from crossing the Jordan and entering into the land of Israel. They finally made it. They're almost there. But remember, this has happened before, and this will come back. So they're almost ready to cross in, but two tribes. We have Gad and Reuven, and a little bit of Manasseh also, kind of like half of them, come up to Moses and say, you know what? This land that we're in right now, east of the Jordan, this is great. This is farming land. It's grazing land. It would be great for our cattle. We're just going to stay here, and you guys can go, right? Yeah? Now, Moses has an option here. As a leader, he can just say no. If he wants, he could just say no, and that would be the end of it, so to say. That really isn't the best way to negotiate, is it? Just saying no. So, he could say, okay, you can have these lands, but you have to help us enter in to the land of Israel. Okay? That's another easy way. Now, he's not just saying no, but he's sort of compromising. But instead of that, Moses lays out his heart to these two tribes, 3 tribes, 2.5 tribes, whatever. And he says, this has happened before. When we sent the spies into the land of Israel, and they came back saying of these big giants, and it was death to go into the land of Israel. It convinced the whole of the Israelites not to go. And because of that, they were punished to wander those 40 years so that that generation would not enter into the land of Israel. And Moses says, listen, I don't want this to happen again. You're not only asking for something for yourself, because in negotiations, it's rarely just two-sided. There are more people that are impacted by negotiation than just the two parties. And here Moses is saying, your people, Israel, Am Yisrael, are in danger of not being able to enter into the land of Israel if you do not help us by entering into the land with us. So, the heads of Gad, Reuven, and Manasseh think for a second. They could say, okay, we'll help you enter into the land of Israel. Great, and then we're going to go back. Can we have this land? Yes? They could say that. It's another compromise. But one thing that people mistake compromise for is peace. Peace, in essence, in Hebrew, the shoresh, shin lamed mem, doesn't only mean peace in the concept of no fighting. It means more. It is wholeness. That's why we say refuah shlema, a healing that is complete. There needs to be, for true peace, there needs to be an understanding between both sides. There needs to be true ownership of what they believe and true understanding. And so the tribes come back to Moses. It actually says they're already talking to each other, the tribes and Moses, but the Torah emphasizes that they approach Moses. And this motion of coming closer to Moses is sort of symbolic in them truly understanding Moses' fears and saying, not only are we going to help you enter into the land of Israel, we will be your vanguard. We will not rest until every single member of the Israelites who want land in the land of Israel have it. And only then will we take our land east of the Jordan. So this is not only a compromise, but it is an understanding. And Moses doesn't immediately say yes. In fact, he doesn't really agree to the whole thing until a little bit later. First, he says to the tribes, if you do this, if you are our vanguard, if you help us to settle in the land of Israel, if you help every single member of every tribe to settle in the land of Israel, then you will be redeemed. But if you don't, you will have sinned against God and against your own people. Here is the essence of why this negotiation, specifically in the Torah, is what I consider the best, is because it has trust behind it. Not only do the parties understand each other, but they understand the stakes. They understand the true meaning of what it means to enter into this agreement. This agreement not between the people of Israel at this moment and the tribes of Gad and Reuven and Manasseh, but this is an agreement between the heads of the tribes and Moses. This is one of those handshake agreements. It's written in blood, but not really written down. And in fact, Moses comes out to the rest of the Israelites and doesn't talk about that agreement of truth, of understanding, but he presents it more as what we would expect. If they help us enter in the land of Israel, they will be given these lands. Because nobody else needs to know this other agreement, this agreement of trust. So what do we learn from this week's Torah portion? That in order to successfully negotiate in any way, shape, or form, both sides need to understand the other. Both sides need to be willing to take that information and act on it in a moral way that is beneficial to both sides. And more importantly, is to enter into every single negotiation with the anticipation and the understanding that each side will come to it in trust. And hopefully we can take what we learned from this week's Torah portion and find a way to apply it to our own lives, especially now that we're getting nearer and nearer to our High Holy Days and of Yom Kippur, that time where we go over, we have a cheshbon hanefesh, a recounting of our souls. And this is the perfect time. Even before the month of Elul, when we're supposed to be thinking about it, why not start a little bit earlier? Why not take stock? Maybe what happened last week, maybe what happened this past month. But do it a little bit at a time, because trust me, High Holy Days will be here in a flash. So I hope that you're able to take something of that and apply it to your lives. Shabbat Shalom. I would now like to welcome Betty Adams, our co-president, to have some announcements for us.
We have a new cool thing up here, and since this is your sanctuary as well as ours, you should know we have some cool toys. We can turn on this microphone with our feet now. It's great. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Betty Adams, co-president of Temple Sinai, along with Lynn Weinstein. Thank you, Student Cantor Dan and Dr. Dave McFarland for the beautiful music, and Student Cantor Dan for your words of wisdom. And thank you to the following sponsors this week. Our Shabbat services are sponsored by Shelley Teitelbaum in memory of Howard Teitelbaum and Max Teitelbaum, Bonnie and James Hernan in memory of Bonnie's sister Linda Friedman. The following donations to the community food pantries are sponsored by Janet and Sheldon Thaler in memory of Sheldon's father Max Thaler, Ruth Kurland in memory of her husband Jules Kurland, Zena Wagner and family in memory of Helen Wagner, Paula and Mike Geigerman in memory of their nephew, Ben Geigerman. Susan Christophilus in memory of her mother, Sylvia G. Brown. Michael Halley in memory of his uncle, Maurice Halley. Beth Ellen Miller in memory of Richard Steff. Terry Cantor and Sons in memory of her husband and their father, Donald Cantor. Onex sponsorships this week. Sandy and Stephen Osterman in honor of Sandy's birthday. Happy birthday. Our Saturday, July 30th Shabbat Torah study is sponsored by Carol Pollack in memory of her mother, Rita Gassman, Bonnie and James Hernan in memory of Bonnie's sister, Linda Friedman, Rebecca Lipman in memory of her son, Howard Wolf, Barbara Mandel in memory of her son, Andrew Mandel, Stanley Schenker and Margaret Chapman on the anniversary of me walking into her art gallery in the French Quarter and of her thinking I was someone else 46 years ago. And obviously that is Stanley Schenker, not me. but that's fun. A few brief announcements. My husband Eric and I were deciding just today exactly what to put on our chair plaques because we want to dedicate a couple of chairs in the sanctuary. We're actually happy that our family's name will be in this sanctuary where we've spent so many meaningful hours. Reserve yours by next Friday, August 5th, and your plaque will be installed before Rosh Hashanah. You can see me after services, and I'll answer any questions or get the answers for you, or take a flyer home and think about it, but just don't think about it too long, because don't miss the August 5th deadline. If you're watching from home, yeah, here we go. You're already on your computer, so you may as well visit our website or wait till after Shabbat, whichever. TempleSinaiPBC.org for information, or you can wait until Monday and call Judith in our office, 561-276-6161, extension 112. Now, if you have friends and family who may be interested in joining our Temple Sinai family, or maybe you are visiting and thinking of that or watching out there, please save these dates to attend one of our open house events, Saturday evening, August 13th, and Sunday morning, August 14th. That's Saturday evening, August 13th, and Sunday, August 14th, between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. More details will follow soon. There are a few precious flyers in the lobby, but there will be more, and we hope that you'll join us or send some other people to join us. There will be Torah study on Zoom at 12:30 tomorrow. Shabbat Shalom.
A quick note about open house on Saturday evening. There will be a musical presentation, which might include some of my favorite Broadway pieces, along with Rabbi Cohen and I will be singing together. So I hope you come and bring people to enjoy the evening. Let us continue with our concluding prayers this evening on page 586 as we rise for Aleinu at the top of the page. We are carrying our stories of the ones who came before. What stories will be told of us When we are here no more, we commit ourselves to action. It brings meaning to our days. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בכובד מרומים, ואלוהינו אין עוד, ואנחנו משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא I would now like to invite our co-president, Lynn Weinstein, to help us in leading of the Kaddish Yatom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
At this time in our service, we bring to our hearts and minds the memories of loved ones who are no longer with us. Those who left strong handprints in our hearts and our minds, and we remember them with love. I'm going to be on page 594 in our Siddur. Why should I wish to see God better than this day? I see something of God in each hour of the 24, and each moment then. In the faces of men and women, I see God, and in my own face, in the glass. I find letters from God dropped in the street, and everyone is signed by God's name, and I leave them where they are, for I know that wherever I go, others will punctually come forever and ever. On this Shabbat, we remember the lives and the souls of people passed at this time in their season. Many have plaques along the walls in our sanctuary, and they are kindled this evening. Alvin Berkman, Sidney Bernstein, Sylvia G. Brown, Rosalind Chazen, Ned Kodash, William E. Colbert, Linda Addis Friedman, Rita Gassman, Elaine Glick, David Garfinkel, Maurice Halley, Doris Hollander, Chaim Jupiter, Helen F. Kaplan, Samuel Kirshner, Jules H. Kurland, Gertrude Letterman, Max Lipman, Anne O. Lowinger, Max Mickelson, Etta Miller, Isidore Rothman, Bernard Summers, Richard A. Steff, Abraham Truchel, Howard Adam Wolf. We also remember Hyman Galler, Ben Geigerman, Alan Gluck, Henry Heuberger, Donald Cantor, Solomon M. Layer, Andrew Mandel, Sam Slapowitz, Robert Sudak, Howard Teitelbaum, Max Teitelbaum, Max Thaler, Helen Wagner. As I go around our sanctuary, if you're remembering someone dear to you on this Shabbat, feel comfortable rising and stating their name. And we also remember dear ones in the Shloshim period of their recent lives. Friends here at Temple Sinai, dear member passed away in recent days, Sandy Cowan. His services were in New York. We also remember Francis Hyman, Joyce Persilli, and dear Michelle Levy. For friends at home, if you are remembering someone at this time, please state their names as we all join together and stand for Kaddish Yatom, page 598 in our Siddur. And together, Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimaru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nehemata da'amiran be'alma v'yimru, Amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'yimru, Amen. May there be abundant peace from heaven and life for us in all Israel. Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. Please join us after our closing song for a little nash, where we will do our own little kiddush and our own little motzi together. And I enjoy saying hello to everyone. We will end as we began. Hinei matov u'manayim shemenachim gam yachad. Hinei matov u'manayim shemenachim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum, Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum, Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum, Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Hinei matov u'manayim shemenachim gam yachad. Hinei matov u'manayim shemenachim gam yachad. Shabbat shalom.